I'm Shay, and I'm here with Ashley for our annual filming session. We're here to talk all things books. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. We are going to be talking about our reading journey, how we got into reading, our favorite books, and all of those types of things. So in terms of how we both got back into reading, how we both got into reading, of course I was the accelerated reader girly back when I was a kid. Were you?
I was the child that was reading what you weren't supposed to be reading. Like, that's what my introduction to reading was.
Okay.
Like, one of my first favorite books was The Coldest Winter Ever. Have you ever read that?
I had that on my shelf by Sister Soldier.
Yes.
I'm dead. I gotta read that.
Yes.
That's on my physical TBR.
Well, when you read it, I read it when I was like in the 6th, 7th grade. So.
Okay, I was reading Babysitter's Club and all of that to earn pizza and rewards and things like that. But I got reintroduced back into reading probably a couple of years ago. And since then, I have been reading X amount of books per month or per year, as many as I possibly can. So have you always been a reader?
I would say I have been a reader.
Okay.
Reading was like an escape. I've read for a long time. Like, just reading kind of takes the stress away from life.
So, okay, so it's almost like a coping skill / escape, something you do for recreation pretty much. Okay. So tell us about what your favorite genres are. Give me your top 2 favorite genres.
Urban romance and urban romance.
Urban and romance.
But I do like thrillers. I like the crime, mystery type books. What's my girl, Big Frida?
Psychological thrillers.
Yeah, psychological thrillers.
That's what I
like
figured,
those.
but I wanted you to share it. Twinsies. My favorite genres are psychological thrillers and romance as well. Not so much urban romance, though I do read urban romance, but I really just read any romance book. And interestingly enough, I'm not super into romance novels, but I am a part of a couple of book clubs and we read a lot of romance, so I just go with it. I have here my favorite book ever, which is S.A. Cosby's Razorblade Tears. I don't know that this is a psychological thriller. It's more like a crime thriller, but I just love thriller books. Next, this is probably my favorite romance book, which is Abby Jimenez's Just for the Summer. What are your favorites?
I don't think I have a favorite book. I have a couple of favorite series. I like Nina's Ona series. So that one is like 4 or 5 books long. Really like that series. And then I also like Jaquel J.
Really?
I've gotten into the Delgado series, and yeah, she had me in a chokehold.
So when we went to that reading event, wasn't she there?
If she was, I didn't know who she was then. So now I wish we could redo it.
You know, the event was last weekend, the second one.
Oh.
And I think she was, I'm pretty sure she was there.
One?
I did not. I wasn't able to go. Or was I out of town? I'm pretty sure that's who was there.
I wish I would have met her. But I will say I do have a favorite audiobook, and I highly recommend this one. If you've been struggling to get into audiobooks, I would suggest reading or listening to Will Smith's autobiography. You know,
love it.
Love it.
You know, it's so funny that you're saying that, because when I was driving here and thinking about like my favorite books and whatever I was listening to an audiobook, I was thinking of the fact that aside from thrillers and romance novels, I also really enjoy memoirs. Though we don't really read those for book club. I kind of just read whatever the book clubs are reading. But I love memoirs, and I would say my top favorites are Will by Will Smith. I'm Glad My Mom Died by, I think, Jenny McCarthy. And then my third one would be Tina Knowles' Matriarch. Ashley, I enjoy all forms of books, ebooks, audiobooks, physical books. Tell me, in rating those 3, if you even partake in those 3, how do you rate them?
I would rate them basically the same for me. I love reading physical books. I like the e-readers on reading books on my iPad mini. So we talked about reading being a stress reliever for me. When my grandmother passed, that was really a stress reliever for me, and I found that I was reading more than I was actually completing anything else. Like, I was
locked in with reading in your reading era.
And especially when I'm actually reading a physical book or a ebook, I can't do anything else. I was just sitting and reading and you know what I mean? So that's when I started getting more into audiobooks. Audiobooks, now I can listen to the book. I can listen to as many books as I want to and get other things accomplished. I can work on work stuff. I can work on housework stuff. I can drive. Like, you can multitask and do that. Yeah. So in therapy, I talked to my therapist about this. That was one of the recommendations. Like, how can you habit stack with reading?
I love that. For me, I'm the same as far as the different styles. I tap into all of them. I enjoy physical books. I enjoy ebooks. I enjoy audiobooks. And so a year ago, I got into audiobooks, and probably since then, I've listened to maybe I don't know, I want to say like 80 audiobooks, maybe even more than that. I do it while exercising, while cleaning, while walking, whatever you can think of, while driving, road trips, when I'm going to work, driving around work, driving home from work. And I love that I can be listening to a book and still doing everything else that I have to do. Also, I feel one of the benefits of audiobooks is that you do get to witness, you know, people's characters. Like Will Smith, they have a voice.
Right.
There's a voice to that character, is his in particular. Even other books, though, there's a voice to it. And it kind of just, especially when I'm listening to thriller books, I feel like it just gives it a little extra something.
Like
So
it just pulls you in more. Like
so
I can actually see this stuff unfolding. Like you can already picture it while you're
like a
reading
movie
the book,
almost.
but it's definitely like
the beauty is you have to use your imagination. Like I wonder what, when it comes to Razor Blade Tears, because I listen to this too, I wonder what I'm envisioning what Buddy Lee looked like and what Ike looked like. Like what do these guys look like?
Oh no, when they're riding in that truck, like what does that look like?
And so I love that. Some people aren't into audiobooks, but I knew you were, but I was interested in your origin story for
Definitely.
audiobooks. So you do all of them.
I do more audiobooks now
Same.
than I do reading the ebooks. I would like to read ebooks. I like to read physical books, but I do listen to audiobooks more. And I feel like I can consume more. My reading count has doubled since I've done audiobooks.
For sure. Easily. One other commonality that Ashlee and I have is that we both have iPad minis that we have basically turned into Kindles. And so we use both of these as Kindles.
I have definitely done some customizations to my
upside down.
So I have definitely done some customizations to my iPad mini to make it more reader friendly, like adding the matte screen protector.
Same.
I think we've both done that, and that helps take the glare off of it. And I've added a few apps, like of course I have the Kindle app, I have the Audible app on here, but I also have created a TBR widget that I can list my books and check them off on my home screen.
Okay,
so
I like that. Okay.
Love having that. I'm just looking for different ways to make this more of a reading experience.
Now, tell us, do you have a reading focus set on your
I
iPad?
do.
Okay.
I have a reading focus, and I've taken it one step further. So my reading focus is tied to an automation. When I turn my reading focus on and I open the book app that I'm using, it automatically it takes the color off of my iPad. I have it set where it goes black and white,
so like
automatically.
monotone?
Right,
Okay,
to make it easier on my eyes for reading. And then when I come out of whatever reading app that I'm using, it brings the color back.
That's fancy. Okay, I like that.
And I have a video on my channel if you would like to learn how to do that with your iPad mini.
I like how yours is like a muted color and mine is like kind of vibrant and stuff. So yours is very cozy and relaxing, whereas mine is kind of chaotic like my brain. Now, tell us about your favorite apps.
My preferred apps are Kindle, Audible, and I've started using Libby. There are two tricks that I want to share real quick with Audible and Kindle. You know, the Audible books, you only get the 1 credit with your membership.
Okay.
But if you find a book that is included in your Kindle Unlimited.
Yes.
And you download that book into your library and go back to Audible, it'll be discounted further than what it is. So you may run across a book that's $20. If it's included in your Kindle Unlimited and you can get it with your membership for free, but basically with the Kindle membership, put it in your library. Come out of the book, go back into it in Audible, and there'll be a discounted price. You may get it for 10, 4, 6. It'll come down from whatever it is. So if you want a cheaper price on your books when you're paying for them to listen to them, that was one trick that I have. Also, if you want to listen to the books that are just in your Kindle, you can have Siri read them and not listen to it in that robotic voice. There's a way to get Siri to read your books to you.
My favorite apps are Kindle Unlimited, Libby, and then Amazon Music. Amazon Music rolled out a new feature probably 2 Novembers ago, so maybe 2024, where they were giving out 1 free Audible credit included in the price of Amazon Music. So I go to Amazon Music just to get and redeem my 1 Audible credit. So those are my top 3 apps. Now tell us, what was your last read, your current read, and your next read?
My next read is going to be the next book in the series. Fragrant is part of the St. Louis Cyclone series by Alexandria House. So the next book in that series is Technical. So I'll be checking that out next. I told you I'm a series a series reader.
Daydream by Hannah Grace. It is the third book in the series, in the final book as of now. I just started out with my current read, but my last read was Audrey and Bash Are Just Friends by Tia Williams, and I love Tia Williams. My next read is going to be a buddy read by Kiera N. James. It's called Orchid, and I'm going to be buddy reading this with 2 of my friends starting on Sunday.
So let me ask you a question. How many books do you read at a time?
Only one.
Only one?
Only one.
And do you finish a series? Like if you start a series, do you jump around and then come back to the series?
Will.
So that's the difference. Once I start,
you got to see it through.
I got to see it through.
My boy.
See it through.
Okay. Tell us how you find and choose books.
I have a running TBR list.
Okay.
But I don't know why I have a running TBR list, because if I see something else
from
all the time, I only revert back to my TBR list when I'm just like, oh, I don't know what to read next. But most of the time I'm watching TikToks and Instagrams on books and reading based on recommendations of other content creators who recommend books. Like when you talk about some of the books that you've read, I might check that book out next. Yeah. Or if I've found a new author, I'll read a couple of their books to make sure that I like them before I review the books on my channel. I just want to make sure that I have a vibe for the writer before I
talk about it.
Yeah. And another source I have a reading buddy, and she recommends books to me all the time. So we go back and forth. If I read something that's good.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Exchange.
Makes sense. For me, I mainly get my book recommendations from book club members. So either I'm reading the actual book club picks for the month, and again, I'm in multiple book clubs, or I am getting recommendations from the girls or women in the book club. And I feel like that's pretty much how I determine my books. Of course, S.A. Cosby is an auto buy, an auto read. Abby Jimenez is an auto read. So I do read the books from my favorite authors. Frida McFadden is an auto read. So I do have some auto buy, auto read authors, but mainly I'm also pretty good with the flow, and I'll read pretty much anything. If a new memoir comes out, I'll read that memoir. I don't really care. I kind of give everything a shot. So that's pretty much where I get my book recommendations, word of mouth.
And another, let me piggyback off that. Another recommendation, not even a recommendation, but I will pick a book based on what's included in my membership. So if
that's true.
If I can't, if I don't have anything that I'm currently reading, or if I'm out and my book finishes, I'll scroll through and see, well, what's included with my membership, that
Kindle Unlimited, or what is on Amazon Music or Audible. Or what is available on Libby. I get a lot of my books from Libby, which of course is a free way to read books and listen to audiobooks as well. So a lot of people read during various times of the day. I know you listen to audiobooks. We kind of talked about that, but are there any other times that you are reading? Like, do you have like a morning reading routine? I have a friend who mainly reads during the morning, which is foreign to me. I mainly read either in the car in the morning, or as I'm driving throughout work, which I'm not driving a whole lot, or I'll read during my walk or afternoon exercise after work at like 4 or 5 p.m. Or I might read while cleaning after work. Or if I really want to lock in with an actual physical book, of course, then I almost always read at night before bed, or sometimes sporadically during the weekend. So tell us when you're reading.
I work with a lot of data at work. So if I'm running reports and working on reports, it's not anything that I have to like be in a meeting or be present for. It's just that mindless work that I would have background music or something. Yeah. I'm listening to a book while I'm working, cleaning the house, preparing dinner, going for a walk. I'm definitely every night, part of my going to bed or winding down routine is playing on my Nintendo Switch and listening to a book. I'm going to play a game, and that puts me to sleep every night.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about our reading styles, when we like to read, our preferred methods, all of that fun stuff. Now we're going to end with maybe some hot takes, or maybe like a rapid fire type of situation. So I want you to tell us, what is a book that changed your mindset or just changed how you view the world?
I would say Perfect Peace by Daniel Black. That child went through some things. And you never really know what other people, like situations that other people go through that you can't even fathom, you can't even think about. Like, it opened my mind that people are really out here struggling and being treated poorly by the people who are supposed to love them the most. I would say that about that book. Like, it just opens your mind to what you think is bad and what's been happening to you is bad. Somebody else got it twice as worse.
I feel like my book that changed my mindset doesn't have that much depth, and I feel like a lot of books have changed my mindset, honestly. But if I had to pick one, I would say I have to pick the book that like really made me excited about reading and all of that. And of course, that's going to be my favorite book, which is S.A. Cosby's Razor Blade Tears. I don't know why. It shed some light on the LGBTQ plus community. And I don't know, I just really liked how the two dads came together to essentially avenge their gay sons and the journey that they went on and the ruthlessness that they both demonstrated and all of that. So I don't think it's as deep as that book that I've not read.
I actually think it is.
Okay,
especially
you think so?
Now with the climate of everything that we have going on, I think this book reflects what we need to see right now.
So.
You know what I mean?
So, 100%.
The come together, the forget your differences, let's work together on one accord. That book represents all of that.
I think so too. Tell us a book that you think is overrated. Wait, hold my hand.
Yeah.
What you about to say?
Broken Down Prophets by S.A. Crosby.
Wait, that book, I don't like that book.
You don't like that
No.
book? Oh, okay.
Okay, I love S.A. Cosby as an author. That book, that exclusive audiobook was god awful.
It was horrible.
I would never have envisioned that you were going to say that, though it was terrible.
And everybody was like, "Oh, you did the read."
But do you think if it were a regular book, it might have hit differently?
Maybe.
Because I feel like the plot was there, like it was action packed, but just the character, I don't know, it wasn't my favorite. That's not my most overrated book though, but it is.
Not overrated.
I don't think it's overrated. I don't know that anybody.
I saw it on TikTok a couple times being recommended.
Raving.
Like,
oh, I just read it because it was his. I don't think I knew anybody loved it or heard anybody talking about it a lot.
Maybe that's the wrong book I'm thinking about.
No, that book's awful. My most overrated book is called Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Have you heard of that book?
No.
The TikTok girlies love it. They're like, it's like a Hallmark movie, or what do they call it? What's that? Gilmore Girls or whatever. And that book sucked so badly, but I will say, you know, I stick with the series. So I did go ahead and read the rest of the series, and it did get better, which people did say, but I could have gone my whole life without reading Pumpkin Spice Cafe. It was so terrible. Like, it's not even worth picking up. Finally, I want to ask one book you'd recommend to your younger self.
Bamboozled by Jesus.
Oh, that's the name of it. By Jesus isn't the author, right?
Bamboozled
Tell
by
us about
Jesus.
that.
What is her name? Yvonne Orgy? This is the girl that was Issa Rae's best friend on, what was Issa's show?
I know what you're talking about. That popular show. Not Scandal.
Insecure.
That was her
was Issa's best friend on Insecure. She wrote that book.
Okay.
And she's a devout Christian, and you wouldn't have known that. But she's a comedian too. So this book was hilarious, but it still strengthened my relationship spiritually.
I think the book I'd recommend to my younger self is called Chaos Theory by Nick Stone. And it's a book that I read this past summer with my husband. His high school was reading it as like a reading initiative, but they never finished it. So Nick Stone never went there, and they never got to meet the author or none of that. So we read it over the summer when we were both out of work, and it's a what do you call it? The young adult.
Oh, young
adult book.
YA.
Yeah, I was thinking YN.
Definitely not that.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. He wasn't a YN. A YA book, and I love that book so much. And I just feel like maybe 17-year-old Shay, because I think they were like 17, 16, would have loved that book. That was such a cute book. 20-year-old Shay, I loved it at my age. So I just think that's a book that I wasn't expecting to like it, but I really did, and it's such a cute story, and it has a lot of depth in it, and I do love those books. So I would say that is a book that I would recommend to my younger self. All right, y'all, so that is a wrap on this video. We have talked all things books, and we'll probably be back in a year or so to talk more about our book journey and everything related to books. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and if you're liking what you're seeing, and I will catch you guys right back here in a few days in a brand new video. Bye, guys.